this season.
And you probably will do all the games of the ANZ Pro League as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go.
You guys, I mean, I don't even need to ask. I'm sick of me. All right. Two CTs picking in windows. Zeta jumps out mid, doesn't get killed. He's been allowed to get away.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice position for him to hold down.
Shots coming out. They're going to stream up jungle here. Zeta's going to under a lot of pressure. Myrolls picks him off. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but now suddenly these MVP kills just come absolutely out of nowhere. Bombs dropped at the bottom of Connector. Very rough state of affairs. Myrolls, he's making the difference though. My personal favourite player.
Oh, and we are actually seeing that as well eventuate into a winnable situation now for Alpha Red. Stacks just as liable to actually pick up their headshots there as well, but Alpha Red, they salvaged that situation. I mean, it was a nice crossfire for MVP as their Alpha Red guys made their way up through Connector into jungle and that kind of thing. A few good shots hit by MVP, but then things slowed down a little bit. And once those picks came across, the rotators from B weren't really in a position to be able to challenge Alpha Red too easily at all. So as soon as that jungle player goes down for MVP, that's where Alpha Red then have the advantage. And from here on out, obviously, Alpha Red come into the first half with a bit of an extra bonus in that money department. So Mac 10's coming out for them, the AK as well. So 4-1 split. This might actually get the better of Alpha Red. Olivia, if he goes down cheaply.
Lots of money going over to the Mac 10s. So that's a good start onto this economy of Alpha Red. And we're looking at them already getting 2 rounds on the board. That's better than they did last map.
Yep, that is the start. For this round, I think Alpha Red does save through those two Mac 10s. Maybe have a crack at the B bomb side, a quick play out there. Obviously, you're going to have a ton of utility to work with in this round in particular, which MVP won't necessarily have. So the counter utility maybe is an issue for MVP here, but we'll see what the option of choice is going to be for MVP. It does look like they are trending toward the B side of the map, and
like you're right,
starting to see them set up a fair bit of utility. So Smoke Grenade is going to go over into the site, a couple of them in fact, and here comes the offensive from Alpha Red with the flashbangs going over.
Yep, these MVP players struggling to get in position, and Fox is already on top of them. He's going to double up as well. That's 2-man advantage here for Alpha Red, and the utility is down on market, so there's no way MVP is getting back into the site. So I'm going to try and find an angle from Catwalk, but he is smoked off as well. Bomb goes down, and MVP, they're just ready for the save.
I mean, I guess that's going to happen sometimes, isn't it? If MVP don't actually open the account with the first kill or two, once Alpha Red actually storm onto the bomb site, obviously utility coming through from them, the flashbangs look good. But once you have players in a position, especially with the Mac 10 being able to run around so quickly on that site, you can flank the MVP players, the CT defenders, and inevitably we see exactly what has occurred. Now, the one saving grace for MVP is at least they've saved 3 guns through, actually. And it doesn't look like Alpha Red is going to be able to pick any of those ones up. But what has occurred is that the 2 Mac 10s have been upgraded for Alpha Red as well. So like that's literally the perfect start to the map that Alpha Red could have asked for. All they're going to have to do is reinvest in the utility. MVP won't be able to afford a proper buy through here. They won't be able to drop any good guns. So do we just see them invest into the utility, or maybe go for the UMP or from us drop out from Zion Zeta or HSK? Looks like it will be no investment at all.
Those flashes were so effective in the last round.
Yeah. But 3 guns for MVP. We know the damage that the individuals can do on this roster, so I don't think this is a round that Alpha Red can necessarily consider already over. Bomb in toward Palace for Alpha Red though, so a good start for MVP. Sure, they get the opening pick over toward the B bomb site, but they have been pretty much bamboozled. There's still 3 players, and actually the float coming from middle, really CT spawn at the moment, set up, heading over towards B. That's the opener into A that Alpha Red needs. Bomb's going to go down now, and the rotation has to come across. It's a long one for MVP. No utility, no defuse kits. Very difficult retake to make work, but they do have the numbers advantage here, Pilly, so they can trade effectively. Maybe there's something for them in this round.
Myrol's in a really key position, needs to find that frag onto HSK when he does drop. Flank coming out, and that's going to be a duel between Stacks and another player. Olivia on the site here. Contact from Myrol's, and Olivia peeks out off of him, doubles up. It's looking like it's falling apart here for MVP. Let's see if they can get any exits on the way out. It's not looking likely as Livy's just cleaning everybody up, and that aim punch is too much for Stax to deal with. So nice clean up there from Alpha Red. Off to an early disadvantage, but they consolidate it pretty quickly, finding the trades that they needed out onto that A bomb site.
Yeah, that said, it doesn't really get too much easier for Alpha Red here. Obviously, MVP in the last round, they do save those 3 guns through. They have a bit of a chance. Now they've actually got a pretty good chance. This is their best buy so far. You've got the AWP out on setup, which is always such a key part for MVP, particularly on the CT sides. AWPs coming out across the board. Again, Alpha Red are going to trend toward the B bomb site, but I wonder if this is going to be something MVP is a bit more prepared for this time, especially with all that utility. You can see the incendiaries going through, the HE grenades going through, and Fox already suffering the brunt of that damage. But look at this. Just a flurry of utility from Alpha Red onto B site.
Stax in the key position, but he can't find an angle onto anyone. Zeph is going to grab one, and now Stax is being shot in the side by 789, and the rest of MVP trapped behind his utility. KNTZ straight through the smoke, and 789 again with another one onto HSK, and it's the same situation. Less clean than with the MAC-10, surprisingly, but they shut MVP out of that site once they get the trades in. It's just going to be the save from Zeta and Zion, who are those A-site players.
Yeah, great utility usage again from Alpha Red. As soon as one grenade gets thrown by Alpha Red, you just see like a total waterfall. If you were watching the map as that round sort of eventuated, there was literally probably, I would say, up to 10 bits of utility being thrown within the space of 2 seconds there from Alpha Red, all flying over into the bomb site. The smoke grenades come down perfectly. Again, it isolates those players on the bomb site, and as you said, Stax wasn't actually able to get a nice angle in there, and that was the issue for him. Maybe if he hunkers down on that bomb site and just sort of tries to bide his time a little bit, play a little bit more for the rotations, MVP had a chance. They got a couple of players down really low, but Alpha Red, they get the entries that they need. They open up that bomb site, and MVP once again are forced in that really awkward position where they have to save a couple of guns, but they're not really going to be able to buy here, so we're relying on Zeta and Zion in this round in particular. Definitely 2 players that you'd be happy to rely on in a sense. But MVP are actually struggling a lot more this time than we expected, because Dust 2 was so clean for them. To see them actually struggling on CT here.
Not this time though. Zion's already doubling up. The smoke's come out. He's trapped on this triple box and he's getting surrounded by the teeth, but great counter flash comes out, but 789 still finds Zion. 2-man advantage here for MVP as they're trying to find some angles onto these CTs, but Stax in a key position, not quite able to grab that kill, but Zeta coming around the corner, and now they're all surrounding 789. He's trying to make it work, trying to control his spray, but he can't. MVP, they win that round with only the 2 guns and a handful of deagles, sort of scrapping things together as we often see from them.
Yeah, it's a big change-up from Alpha Red there as well. You know, they've been having so much success toward the B bomb site with the execute. This time they try to go fast into the A site off the back of a couple of flashbangs, but it just looks like the flashbangs come a little bit too late actually there from Alpha Red, and Zion lines himself up. He's got the AUG. Really, the only way that Alpha Red is going to lose that round is if they run into Zeta or they run into Zion, and that's exactly what happened. So MVP have been given a bit of breathing room now. Alpha Red may default back toward the B bomb site here again, though we do see a bit more presence on that side of the map.
Good money for both teams at this point. If utility exchange back and forth, the 2 main fights that I've been looking at is Olivia looking for a pick in B apartments, and also KNTZ and Zion in towards window.
Well, mid is still within the control, at least of MVP. Not that they necessarily know it, but Alpha Red has really given up any presence there. So there's only really one avenue of attack now available to Alpha Red, and that is to go back toward the A bomb site. There is at least a lot of utility to work with. But the fact that Zion is so far forward here on the bomb site means obviously those utility going to be thrown in towards CT and towards jungle, that kind of thing. He's playing in front of that. May well just shut all of this push down before there really is any kind of resistance from Alpha Red. Numbers advantage, of course, there for MVP as well. And they have a lot of counter utility for their own right. So, bit of utility thrown in here from Alpha Red. That is going to draw some of the counter utility out. The HE nades you can see going thrown across to main. And the incendiary there as well. But Alpha Red still have a bit to play with here. Zion's tucked himself in sandwich.
Gonna come walking out the palace. 789's already found the kill on towards jungle, but Zeta and Zion, these 2 always clean up this A bomb site time and time again. A thorn in the side of Tyloo, and now a thorn in the side of Alpha Red as well. And it feels like MVP slow to start into this one, but they're starting to pick up their momentum once again.
Yeah, the trouble is though that they are going to have a long road back into this game, aren't they? Because you can still see Alpha Red have got oodles of cash. I think there was a player there sitting on about 13k, even after losing 2 rounds in a row. So by the time that money is depleted, we're going to see the full loss bonus developed for Alpha Red. If it even gets to that point, a tactical pause coming out here. Probably Alpha Red, they're saying, okay, look, we've still got a few chances at this. We've still got a few buys. What do we want to do? The A bomb site hasn't really worked. A couple of rounds in a row, we've seen Zion and we've seen Zeta being able to lock that one down. So I think, again, toward B may be a better option for Alpha Red. Those executes that they had out on that bomb site really working quite nicely.
I think an interesting thing is that a lot of people have played MVP on this map and watched MVP play this map, and they seem to give up mid a lot. But no one really takes advantage of that very well a lot of the time, I feel like.
We did see that as well in that last round, obviously. Alpha Red kind of went in to mid, and then they lost the player on the pick from Zeta, and as soon as that happened, they were like, okay, we're not interested anymore. This time, more presence being shown toward mid from Alpha Red. They do get out okay. Smoke in the window does mean HSK is going to have to rotate back across. 789's made some noise.
Player in con for Alpha Red, and they're going to rotate back around towards B. This works out for them. Stax is on the balcony here, and Zeph's going to bait in the T's for him. Battle between HSK and KNTZ could be very key as well. Just waiting for Alpha Red to finally strike. Now starting to come out the apartments. Zeph is going to potentially be picking this player, but no, Fox wins the fight. Stax has been set up for, and he triples up as well, drops the smoke, and he's going to buy even more time for the rotates. HSK is already here from jungle, and he's going to clear up Olivia. KNTZ, he was the player in jungle, and whoa, that's a nice 180, but that's not enough. He needed to make the impact either as that hit was coming in or even before to try and pull some rotates or do a little bit more damage. And unfortunately, that's going to render him useless and he's going to have to run away with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, I mean, so Alpha Red have tried to go back to the tried and true, what was working in toward the B bomb site. But this time they kind of pulled the trigger just a little bit before the utility does actually get thrown. Which, as you can see, means that Stax is a little bit more comfortable on that bomb site. He can really set himself and, as you say, triples up. So a bit of work to be done then for Alpha Red if these kinds of options that were working are now no longer. And I think the big problem is going to be once MVP really does feel kind of comfortable on this TT side, which we may have already reached that point.
I think so. They've got the double AWP now. I feel like the wall's been set up. They've got the utility and all of the AUGs and... Wow. It's not easy for Stax to be spinning around and hitting shots like that.
Oh, well. A bit of utility thrown into mid again. This one, the progression smoke. Just to get across to the mid boxes. Does mean HSK can at least continue to peek out from the window. Stax is pushed aggressively into apartments. A lot of information for him here. Connector, obviously the location of HSK as well. So there's some pretty good positioning for MVP here in terms of just locking down Alpha Red. Like, they don't really have any avenues of attack just yet. A minute 20 still to go, of course, plenty of time, but that's a nice push from Stax. He doesn't spot anyone else out over there. So it's a bit of a mountain to climb now for Alpha Red to get back into this round because they're going to have to use some utility to even get control of areas of the map that allow them to push toward the bomb sites.
They need the bomb to get onto that bomb site as well. That's left behind in T-spawn. Now they're going to start to make their way up middle. Some counter utility coming out from MVP, and they haven't given up control of a lot of these areas that they gained early on.
Well, the one benefit is that MVP actually don't have a huge amount of utility for their own right, but 2 incendiaries this late in the round is going to be a big problem for Alpha Red. Zeta has one of them over on the site. He's just going to put the AWP to good use. 25 seconds now.
The 1-for-1, Olivia trying to come up con and win this fight with HSK while the other 2 players duel with Zeta. Smoke does cut it in half and Olivia does win that key fight on HSK. Bomb going to go down in the smoke. Zeta's looking for an angle right now as Stax is actually the one to rotate up short, and Zeph is in behind these T's. Doesn't look like they're aware. Olivia's going to flank through Murder Hole as well. So this round is definitely going to get messy. Some key players to be keeping an eye on. KNTZ ready for this flank, and he doesn't win the fight. Zeff's able to get that one, and Zed is locking down this other player in Underdark, but he's going to be flanked by Olivia.
But still hanging in the balance right now. My rolls might just clean it up. Stacks. He's got himself a 1-for-1, but he needs to find Olivia, and he does. Great shot. Has he got the defuse in time? Looks like he might just. I think he's done it, MVP. I'm going to go up to 4. The timing on that.
Just in the last second, Stacks just dancing up on top of the box.
Well, you don't expect him up there, do you?
No.
And to be fair, a very nice shot hit from him as well. It's always a bit more difficult hitting a shot like that when you're having to deal with the vertical and the horizontal angle.
Well, that's what we saw in that other round as well. The man was spinning around on top of balcony, killing multiple players. Like, he clearly has the sense for it, and he has a really good feel for his sensitivity. And this wasn't a player that I expected to be...
Oh dear. Those are not shots that you can miss.
Definitely not. HSK going to double up, and he only takes 1 bullet for it. 3-on-3 going to be difficult to navigate out for Red.
Zeta's not going to miss that. 4 rounds in a row for MVP, very likely to turn into 5. So for the good work that Alpha Red did to start the map off, it just seems like MVP, they have hit that comfort level and they're not really too concerned anymore. They've hit their stride and will probably be back to the regular scheduled programming of MVP beating up on Alpha Red.
See Alpha Red keep it a bit more competitive in the last map though. Last 2 hopes of Alpha Red in this round are straight behind this A-ramp smoke, but Zion's on the other side. Scary prospect indeed. Zeta posted up on the line as well. Looks away at the last second, but still recalibrates and picks up both of the last 2.
Yeah, Zeta's looking really sharp at the moment. Obviously a bit of off timing for him there, but it's not really going to be an issue at all for MVP. That round, Alpha Red didn't look like they posed much of a threat at all, and I guess to be fair, that is going to happen when HSK is able to get 2 kills like that to start the round off. Could have certainly been a very different scenario had Olivia hit that shot onto HSK, open the round up with the player advantage for Alpha Red. I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You just don't win that aim battle, and things go from there. Alpha Red now, though, for the first time in this map, are actually going to have to take a pistol armor buy, so it's not the full buyout for them. Just saving a little bit of cash into the next round. Losers bonus is building up, of course, for them, though. So they've got a plenty amount of cash. And player over towards the B apartments has drawn a lot of utility out from there from MVP, but rotations start to come back across here for MVP. Still, it's going to be on the 2A players.
7, 8, 9, finding the entry so cleanly, so often here for Alpha Red. HSK going to burn one alive, and he's going to join up with Ezada in towards CT spawn there. Fox trying to cut the rotates in towards middle. Bomb goes down for Alpha Red. Plant is on triple, and it's a 1-for-1 again. Alpha Red not letting these MVP players get towards the bomb site. They want to cut them off before they even make it there. Nice shot from Stacks, but both him and Zeta were so low, and in a 2-on-1, it's not looking likely. That's an excellent execute out from Alpha Red. They, like you said, they drew the rotations towards B, and then they closed things out as well, making great work of those pistols, but what was Zion doing on top of balcony?
Yeah, I mean, if he does manage to survive, like even if he goes to under balc, it's going to be much more difficult to dig out for Alpha Red when they don't have a huge amount of utility to play with. But once those utilities come across and once Alpha Red get in the site, do close the angles with the pistols, then it becomes doable for them. And like you said, they open up the site, they've got the rotation already across. It's 2 players only on the side for MVP, so yeah, pretty much when Zion goes down there, like that almost is the death sentence in that round for MVP, unless someone sort of steps up, and no one did this time. So Alpha Red back up to 6 now on the T side, and it's been pretty difficult for them in the last few rounds, but perhaps this is a second win that they need. Really putting the challenge to MVP, at least here on Mirage. We didn't see much of it on Dust 2, that's for sure. But now some more mid-control being established from Alpha Red. Again, a bit of a change-up from them. Haven't seen this much presence in mid from them thus far in the first half at all. If they boost up into window, that is something that MVP hasn't seen just yet either.
Could definitely work. This is a pretty regular position that HSK plays, just sitting around this side of window. Seems like Alpha Red's very ready for him, but can't even win the aim duel. Constance doesn't even get the angle. And let's see. Olivia now doesn't get the trades back and forth. And MVP, they've been shut out of this round.
Yeah, 789 is on his own. I guess right now you want to be doing a bit of economic damage. Look at the money for MVP, like it's not great.
Definitely not. Every gun that they lose is going to be very expensive for them.
He's got the bomb. B site is just being defended by Zeph at the moment. Obviously going to be tough to find him with only 18 seconds, but if he does, he has. The bomb can go down now. Probably not in time.
Dak's always in the right position at the right time. Ever reliable for MVP. But it's still 6-6. This is a back and forth competitive game we've got.
Yeah. It does raise a bit of a question for MVP, looking in the context of their match yesterday against Tai Lu, where they really did struggle on the T side. So, I don't know if I'm prepared to say I'm worried yet, but definitely looking a lot better for Alpha Red.
789 in particular.
As well.
This man's hitting so many sharp entries with the pistol, the AK, now the AWP in that round.
Can do it all. Zeph might be the one to turn it around for MVP, though, if he gets the timing right on the push through the smoke here.
Be the case. You can see Stacks even pushing into B apartments there as well.
They need to push something, right? MVP have that numbers deficit. They need some picks, need some info.
The window could be the nail in the coffin here for Alpha Red. Stacks. It's posted up on B apartments, and Zed is doing work from the A site as he ever does when people try to come up connector.
Zed's going to take the peak.
What a great flash in from Zeta, but he doesn't take advantage of it. Zeta's going to take advantage himself, though. And these orbs are just crushing Alpha Red. How has this gone from a 5v3 to a 2-on-2 against two of these dangerous players for MVP? This is crazy.
It's indecisiveness from Alpha Red. They haven't decided to actually push in. Like you say, they have the 5v3, but then they get stuck in connector. And Zeta is so good at locking that angle down from Ticket, from Palms, from Triple, anything, anywhere he is. He's able to take that line, and you bet your bottom dollar he's going to hit those shots. Now look at his position here up in Palace. If he bides his time right and plays this one correctly, waits for the bomb plant to go down, he probably can deny the round.
He's heard the footsteps, and that's going to pull the rotate from Stacks here. And 789 has to move out of connector, but gets caught. That's the bomb down. Olivia, he's sprinting over, trying to recover it, but Zeta doesn't even need to hit that shot. 15 seconds to go, and Olivia's still got to come back to the bomb site here. Stack's already going to shoot him in the side of the head, pick up the AWP, and that's the 7th on the board for MVP.
That's the power of the double AWP for MVP. And Alpha Red really needs to be doing better than that if they hope to win this map. You know, this half and this map even are kind of hanging in the balance right now, but every round that you give over to MVP that could have gone your way is probably a death sentence for Alpha Red, knowing what MVP can do once they get that ball rolling. So once again, we go back into another round where Alpha Red do just have the pistols. They're saving for the last round of the half. Did some damage with the pistols. They actually got the round with the pistols just a few ago. But this is not looking nearly the same kind of a round for them. They haven't been able to get as much pressure into apartments. Utility is going to be forced out, though, by MVP.
Running in, trying to look for an angle. Zeph and Stacks with the crossfire on the site, very difficult to be dealing with, and it looks like Zeph's found the right timing. Rest of Alpha Red not really in position to do anything else in this round.
And you can see Olivia just actually hanging around in A ramp right now, trying to get a bomb down, I suppose, if there was ever going to be a rotation pulled from MVP. But the precursor to that would have been Alpha Red actually doing work on B bomb site, which they haven't been able to do. So now the plan changes. We're back to plan B for Alpha Red, where they're going to group themselves up, just try and execute out onto this bomb site. You've got a couple of smokes here for 789 and KNTZ, probably over towards CT spawn and jungle, or maybe stairs. A few flashbangs in there as well, just to try and hope that they can get into the bomb site, get in close range with the pistols and do some damage that way. But as we know, setup.
Let's get traded out though. Zine here is going to be shooting people inside of the head. Good trades back and forth, but HSK looks like he's the one to lock it down, diving through the edge of the smoke there. MVP, they didn't have any utility in the later parts of that round, so they had to be hitting the shots. They were trades clean enough to close it out, and now a buy versus buy to close things out.
It'll be a good buy on both sides. bit lacking there for Zeph. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good. Double AWP still there for MVP, which has been really a bit of a menace. And there's a good chance we go up to 9-6 here, which still kind of keeps MVP with their nose in front. 8-7. Again, I'm going to stick with MVP. But Alpha Red have definitely been putting some good work in so far. This time, though, for Alpha Red, no presence in mid. Molotov does go to be absent. It's actually killed Zeph. It's spread down.
Talk about a freebie for Alpha Red. That's how you get the man advantage.
It's a bit lucky, but now Zion is going to be forced with the push.
Instantly denied, though, by 789. This man's been on point tonight. Now in a 3-on-5, Alpha Red have plenty of time to play with.
Zion just looking for some information there, trying to equalize the advantage that Alpha Red had, and all that it has actually achieved is Alpha Red getting an even bigger advantage. Still, we have seen the 3v5 go the way of MVP already. They're putting themselves in good positions here as well. That'll help. Stacks gets one on B, which means they can be pretty sure that B's fairly comfortable for now, and Zeta and HSK can try and do what Zeta and Zion have been able to do on this A-bomb site time and time again.
KNTZ coming up and connected though, and Olivia's able to get the first. HSK, he's got to hold on for the rotates to come in, and can he hold on long enough? Olivia's making work happen with the AWP, and Stacks shoots at an AWP that was dropped on the ground.
Talk about pressure, I guess.
That allows the rotate to come in and that frag to come out, so that's an 8-7 half there.
Certainly is. Still anyone's game here on Mirage. MVP do lead in the maps though. 1-0 for them, and a 2-0 here for them would obviously clean things up pretty nicely. Still, got potentially two more, or a half, and another map to go. We'll head to a quick break. We'll find out how things do turn out in the second half just after this. It's looking a little bit better for Alpha Red than it was going into the second half of Dust 2. There we had, well, not much hope for them. Here on Mirage, I want to say we have a little bit more hope, actually. And given the fact that MVP looked a little bit shaky on T-side last night against Tai Lu, on this map in particular, maybe there is a way in which we head to a map 3.
Would be the case. I mean, Alpha Red, a lot more competitive in this map than we saw in the last, so I'm really hoping that they can keep it so. Maybe even push us over to a map 3.
Couple of smokes to start things off here for MVP. A lot of utility available to them. This one going to go on to short. Actually, both of them going into the B bomb site here, so MVP want to try and do the same as what Alpha Red was able to do to them on the pistol.
Flashes out are getting MVP on this side. Olivia has been boosted up, and I don't think they've even noticed that he's been shooting at them. And HSK is on a little bit of a tear here. Zeph closed market, and they have cleared out Olivia off the bomb site without him managing to get a frag. So CTs can't go through the door smoke. They are locked out of this site, and this is going to be a difficult retake to be completing.
Yeah, always going to be tough, but maybe a chance for MVP. Zeph probably shuts it down. My rolls is your man, but HSK is my man. And he gets the pistol there for MVP. You know, I like it. I like the pistol round on toward the B bomb side. I always feel like as soon as you get those smokes down, once you get the flashbangs across, it is very, very tough for those B players to really do a whole lot. Once you've got so many T swarming on the bomb site, so many angles to be aware of, and the Glocks, well, we know what the run and gun potential of those guns can be like. So if Alpha Red's not opening it up, again, I'm going to say the same thing I did basically with Alpha Red on their pistol. It's like if MVP are able to avoid any deaths before they actually get on the bomb site, they pretty much win from there. And that's what we saw. So MVP now in this round, just going to work middle.
Damage onto Fox is going to jump himself away. Looks like MVP actually want to boost up into window, which I feel like can be a bit of a sad sort of thing sometimes. Smoke into the connector, or onto jungle rather, and 789. That's a good 1-for-1. Bit of damage to MVP, but it doesn't look like they're taking too much more. Cleaning everything up pretty easily.
Yeah, good spacing from MVP, being able to trade pretty effectively, not really allowing that situation to get too far ahead of itself. Bomb plant's going to go down, and Mirolls is alone. Snaps is going to find him. And a kill onto the UMP is going to be nice indeed.
$100 dues.
So, Alpha Red, we've spoken about this sort of org buy with a bit of a utility lack in the third round on Dust 2, but it looks like they've got a bit extra cash to play with this time. A few kills coming across, obviously in the pistol and here and there. Does help them out.
Work on Mirage a bit better though.
Yeah, but even here, like, this is a acceptable amount of utility.
Zed is just charging out this A main smoke while the rest of them set up a bit of an execute on the side of MVP, and it will be picked by KNTZ and shut down, and there's side getting shot by Olivia out of Palace. Smokes fly out. MVP, it really feels like they're just trying to force the issue here, and it's not quite working for them. Can't get out of this A main smoke, and then they're going to fall back.
Well, what are you going to do here as MVP? I feel like they've thrown all of their eggs in the basket and then thrown the basket off the bridge because they've used all their utility. And look at the map control for Alpha Red.
One trade in towards T-Spawn, and HSK getting nothing done. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Stacks on an adventure. Bilbo Baggins over here towards top mid.
It's probably not going to happen for him. I mean, let's even theorize, like, for MVP, what can they actually do? Like, they've got the 3v5, right? Let's assume they get over to the B bomb site in some world. By that time, Alpha Red will have rotated an extra player back across.
I think it's always got to be mid in that scenario, really. That's how you open up the map. That's where you find yourself picks that can be untradeable, and you can actually get yourself a position that you can use to abuse the rotations and stuff like that.
It's going to be a force in from MVP, as they are wont to do, generally speaking. 2 smokes go down into mid, a third actually for connector there as well. So we've got the smokes on short, window, and connector out for MVP, but they're not actually going to be really using much in mid. HSK pushing on his own, but it's in toward B that the real offensive might come.
Nice nade out from Mirolls. Does chip a lot of the HP away, but good timing from HSK. Gonna find Fox in the back. Mirolls all alone on this side as Olivia's trying to join him. He's gonna get himself almost 2, but Zion shuts him down. And Olivia, towards the market, is still making this happen. Only 2 players alive for MVP. And one of them had a deagle, but Zed has picked himself up an AK. Nice flash out from the man. He's gonna find the angle onto Olivia, but doesn't quite get the frag. Bomb not down yet for MVP, though.
The trouble is going to be getting that bomb. It's not in a position that they can retrieve it too easily. There's no smokes available to them. Sure, the incendiary might help on HSK, but like no one can actually get to the bomb to pick it up.
The fact that they try to force the issue is just compounding things, making them worse. Olivia, not the first time in these last couple of rounds he's found the side of somebody's head, and he's going to be quite content with just using his mouse one button. And now MVP, they're broke. They're going to take a pause. Talk about what's going so wrong.
Probably talking about what do we want to do with this force buy.
Maybe.
Knowing MVP. In reality, it's not a terrible situation just yet for MVP, right? But they are on the T side. So I'm still not sold just yet on them.
I think this could be a third.
Could be. If Alpha Red keeps that ball rolling, I mean, we kind of
avoided
that situation with Tyloo twice by the skin of their teeth. Is MVP going to be good enough to do the same against Alpha Red?
I think they're definitely good enough. It's just a question of whether it will happen. It's pretty...
Are they good enough tonight?
Yeah. That's right.
3 grenades for MVP. So I wonder what the idea is behind these. Obviously a stack somewhere is what you would look to.
Inferno's the third.
Which is a good map for MVP. Oof, talking of grenades. Triple nade stack into window, a couple of which didn't actually connect.
Olivia's on its hair with this orc here. Do lose one gun from KMTZ, but the rest of this eco is shut down very cleanly from Alpha Red. Looks like a buy is on the cards, but it's that same kind of buy that got them in trouble against Tyloo.
We talked about that extensively, and for anyone that didn't watch last night, what we saw on the T side for MVP was time and time again they would go for this sort of 5 AK or 5 rifle buy with, you know, not so much utility, no orb for Zeta, and they just kept doing it and trying it against Tyloo, and it wasn't working. They never took the save, they never went for that full buy.
He's caught with a nade in hand, but he's going to get enough damage. And 789 from jungle, he's cleaning everybody up. Over towards stairs, actually, and he's just worried about this connector line. HSK coming up behind him, but he's going to drop the smoke in time. Myrol's rotating in on that CT spawn angle, trying to find the line, but 789, this guy's insane right now.
Balls of steel.
Sign cleared up by Olivia and Stacks, and it just feels like every time MVP's forcing the issue, and then the rotates come in from Alpha Red with enough time to spare, and there's just so many angles MVP have to deal with, and they're getting shot from everywhere.
I think one of the things that MVP's usually been pretty good at on their T side, not always necessarily on Mirage, but particularly on a map like Inferno, is playing with the rotates. And in particular, you look to a player like Zion on the A side of Inferno and what he can work with from there. And we're not really seeing so much of that here on Mirage at all. We're not seeing anything going on one or the other side of the map. We're not seeing much pressure being put onto Alpha Red on the CT side. It's just MVP trying to battering ram their way into the A bomb side, and it's not working against Alpha Red.
It's like they're about to battering ram their way into the B side. On the cards here.
But already a rotation has occurred for Alpha Red. They've got 2 players in mid and 3 on B. They've read it completely.
And Myrolls and 789, these guys have been shutting everything down, and already most of MVP is dead. They're losing everybody. 789 a 4K, and he looks pretty happy with himself.
As you would be. 12 to 10 now. Starts to get toward danger territory here for MVP. Now, Zeta could go for the glass cannon. Or do we see the save through from MVP and get that full buy? No is going to be the answer. Maybe it's the 5 rifles again.
Better util this time, though.
That is true. It's actually going to be UMP out for Zeph as well, just to ensure all that utility comes across. Looks like we're toward B this time, maybe. Again, a fast play. There's a lot there for Alpha Red, though, to shut this down. Grenades, incendiaries. It's actually all done 0 damage to MVP. I'm absolutely astounded how that's happened.
Execute comes in, and these players are so blind. Fox and Myrolls can't see a thing. Myrolls all alone, and it's what we saw from Alpha Red before. This SWG player just getting too much ground, and 789's trying to force his way out of market. It's got behind them. How has this happened?
He does get shot in the back from the player on short. Tried to defuse for a second there. Great shot from Stacks. And it's Olivia now on his own. And AWP for a position like this, not going to be too easy. That's not quite going to be the incendiary that he needs. Doesn't hit the shot onto Zion either, but yeah, for MVP there, I don't know how they get through apartments there without suffering any damage from the incendiary or the HE. They like dodged all of the utility that's thrown in there. And then as soon as the incendiary fades away, we see the flashbang come across from MVP, as you mentioned. And I think it was Zeph that had the UMP just going and running amok on the B bomb site. A bit of a streaky round, I feel like, from MVP. It's not going to happen like that every time. Typically, you'll see the utility have more of an impact for Alpha Red. It's not the end of the world for them. They can get the buy through in this one. But it does actually allow MVP a much better buy themselves. They've got the AWP. They have Galil here for stacks in place of the UMP that Zeph was using last round. So across the board, a little bit better for MVP here. And a much slower round as a result. They're going to try and play that pick and split a little bit more so, taking control of middle this time. We do have Zion just watching in case of any pushes out on the A bomb site, but what the option is here for MVP now that they do actually take control of middle. We've got the smoke for the top of connector, so that would indicate maybe they want to start pressuring in toward that area of the map. Perhaps going to boost up onto window.
VP's literally facing their CT side setup right now. Let's see if they know how to defeat it.
I think this is actually an even better looking CT side setup because they have 3 players on the bomb side as opposed to the 2.
Jungle and Olivia could have even collided multiple players there. Only finds himself 1. Nice entries out onto this A bomb side actually for MVP, finding both of the A players in the side, and Olivia's been flushed out by the utility. Bombing going down on reverse default, and MVP now setting up a post plant.
That was really good timing from Zion out from Palace as well. As soon as the contact is taken by MVP out of connector, he just peeks out, takes the free kill onto the player on the bomb site. And now it's a great post plant set up here for MVP. They're going to have a player in toward mid by the late stages of this round as well, which is where the bomb is planted for. And Alpha Red have pretty much given the round up here. They've decided, you know what, we're not being given anything. The peaks aren't coming from MVP. There's no point throwing away these guns. Our money's not that good right now. And I think that's not a bad decision. MVP really did have a nice post plant, albeit with a bit of a lack of counter utility, but nonetheless, up to 12-12, Alpha Red go through with the round. They'll have a full buy here again.
Looked like Alpha Red were a lot more set up for perhaps a heavier play out of A and only maybe 1 or 2 players up that connector area rather than the brute force out of connector. And, I mean, maybe it felt like a bit of miscommunication maybe. Like Olivia saw 4 players there and both of those A site players just get railed by players coming up con.
Credit to MVP though for hitting the shots that they did coming out of connector. Like if you don't get the openings like that, it definitely falls apart quite quickly. So it's a bit of column A, bit of column B. Could have gone either way. In the end, though, MVP do get the better of it, which keeps them in this map. It has to be said, right? Any of those 2 rounds that go the way of Alpha Red, that puts them toward map point quite extensively with the money situation the way it was for MVP. It's going to get a little better for them, but still. Zion is going to catch KNTZ on the push, which is now perhaps going to prompt another aggression out from Alpha Red. There it is into Palace. 789 will also run into Zion.
Zion does not miss a beat. He knows they've got the advantage. He doesn't have to do anything. He's just learnt where the player's playing from. The push in through the smoke, instantly punished by Zeph. And that's the name of the game here for Alpha Red. Punishing these aggressions out. Smoke onto the top of jungle, and it's going to be the same approach for MVP. A crossfire close, though. And look at this cleanup here. Mirage sprays down 3. The space created by Fox, rather. And it's a 2-on-2 now. Olivia watching that cross for triple. Bomb's going to go down default, but CT control belongs to MVP.
Yeah, that's so important. The bomb being planted in a position that can be covered off by Zion. I guess ideally you'd probably want it to be Zeta in CT spawn there, but regardless, it's going to be a tough one to crack for Alpha Red. Look at the 2 utilities that MVP have got. 2 Molotovs, well, a Molotov and an incendiary, but regardless.
Cross gets punished by Zeta instantly. Zion peeks off of it, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, very nice crossfire for MVP. Salvaging the situation, it looked dangerous for a moment. As you say, the crossfire setup coming out of connector there for Alpha Red was good, just not quite good enough. And Zion had actually got so much positioning on the bomb site already that even if that kind of goes the way that it did for Alpha Red, as long as the bomb can get itself onto the site, which is what was able to be achieved by Zeta, then they were always going to have a favorable post-plant scenario. So another tactical pause going to come out here. I have to assume this one is for Alpha Red now, as the pressure does start to mount on them. Didn't quite catch exactly where their money was at, but I have to assume it's starting to deplete a little bit. The loss bonus will be building up, but I think we might be at that tipping point where you have to take a bit of a save round here.
Definitely be the case, and I have to say, credit to Alpha Red from such a disadvantageous situation. almost bringing that one back and putting it even in the 2-on-2.
So it is going to be the save here. Alpha Red just haven't quite hit that threshold where they're getting enough cash from the loss bonus.
They're a team that really needs it, right? They love those orgs. They love the AWP.
Yeah. Do they love the shotguns? The Mag 7, Nova coming out here. I don't know how much luck they're going to have. MVP are playing the long angles right now in middle.
Utility wisely.
Zeph's going to have to get very unlucky to get one shot here.
They're not usually good in these scenarios, but he hits every single pellet, picks up the AK and knife out, just gets punished by Zion. Don't know about that one. MVP now with a bit of mid control. Onto the top of Con and a flash out. They're not going to do anything just yet. Smoke into window. Zeta going to post up on this Con angle where Fox is waiting with the Deagle. Danger territory, but the smoke fades.
Hello?
I was going to say favorably for MVP, but he still finds stacks.
Dad reflexes. Although Zeta's definitely not a dad.
Zeph's probably the most qualified candidate.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a dad either. Could be wrong about that one.
So this round actually has gotten a little bit interesting now for MVP. Alfred have got the stack over toward the B bomb site. Mirals at the Mag 7 going to be able to put that to good use, jumping up and down from the van position. And with KNTZ on the bomb site, unfortunately only with the USP, if he had like a 5-7 or a CZ, really could wreak havoc. But danger times for MVP.
Jumping Mirals with the Mag 7. There's the first one. Instantly traded, but if they don't check the site and they put the bomb down too quickly, HSK is very well aware of that one. Even checks the market window before he puts a bomb down. 789 diving out, and Zeta's on top of his head. That's one way to cover the planter.
That's the totem pole. But I guess it's a good way to cover him off because, like, if you're going to get the shot onto the planter, you're going to have to take the shot from the guy sitting on his head, right? It's the same angle. It's not like you can somehow swindle an angle where the guy can't cover off properly.
There you go. MVP. I think they were on the cheer squad in high school, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. 14-12 now, though, for MVP. Good gun round out from Alpha Red. This is their last chance to stay alive in this map and this series. Bit of presence being put toward mid from both sides this time, and that is actually something that MVP hasn't really had to deal with. Zeta! He's at top mid, but he's on his own, needs some help.
Shot missed, and 789 doesn't let up on the aggression. Cops a couple bullets with Zeta. Nice reaction from the man. Puts out this Molotov. Doesn't actually need to. Stays his hand, but gets quicked on the rotate off from Fox. 3-on-3 situation here, and Fox is the only player in towards middle. So MVP now with a little bit more freedom to find a potential opening in here, but this boost into window would be a mistake. Fox can definitely punish this one. This could be another huge frag for the man. He's stepping up massively for Alpha Red, and MVP getting a scramble on towards the B bomb site.
If they open this up pretty nicely, they will have a chance to get the bomb down. It's Myrol's on his own right now.
He's fighting behind this MPK position. Mollied out, but not quite in time. Finds Zion. Stack's got to retrieve the bomb, but he feels like he knows that Fox is out here, and he punishes him for it. 100% winnable.
He's got a smoke and a Molotov as well. That can really deny the push from KNTZ. I don't think he spotted him there.
They definitely spotted him, though, and it seems like maybe one of the teammates did communicate that to Stacks, because he seemed to have cottoned on to the fact that the player was in market, but
even then,
not
like,
quite
you're just not
posted
quite,
up.
Yeah, you're not quite ready,
not
even
quite
though you
focused
know.
enough.
It's not the same. It doesn't make that instant connection in your brain.
There you go, tactical pause for MVP, and oh my god. After a 16-1, who expected this kind of a game?
Yeah, no, I did not at all. Crazy, crazy stuff.
So, big question on my lips is, how's the money on MVP? How are we feeling?
They did have quite a few rounds in a row, so they should be okay.
Like they've got the guns.
Not sure where it is now after the purchase. Not good.
Dax is going to have to go down to a Mac 10.
But I don't actually mind the Mac 10 here for MVP. You know, like they've been able to make it work, particularly toward that B site. So if they default back there again, it's a lack of utility on Myrol's in particular, as well as KNTZ. So Myrol's one of the B players, and 789 actually doesn't have much there either. To mid goes MVP actually. But can you imagine what a B execute would have looked like for MVP here with Alpha Red having that lack of utility on B?
Would have definitely been a good play to go towards. The money for both teams is so low right now. This is the breaking point right towards the end of the game.
Yep. To win the map for MVP to at least get to overtime for Alpha Red.
some kind of a cat split potentially being set up as they take ladder room. Flash over the top. They're going to start to put the foot down on the pedal, and Fox is tripling up. This man is stepping up in the later parts of this half, and my rolls ever consisted of 4K from Fox to shut that one down. It was like a slow creeping approach for MVP. They got the mid control, they went into B apartments, and it felt like the arms of the push were starting to come together, and Fox just slams them.
Yeah, now where do you go from here as MVP? Their loss bonus is really only just starting to get going now. So they have, what, 1,900 across the board, roughly, at the moment. So next round, they're not going to have a great buy if they save here.
You reckon try to get the bomb down, maybe? I mean, MVP with 4K, I don't think that. That's how I'm going to summarize that one. Bomb plant would get them some extra pieces of util, perhaps.
It's kind of a lose-lose situation, really, for MVP, isn't it?
Pick your poison. Fox. 2 critical rounds. I mean, he doesn't even have... I don't think he's even positive yet. He's not. But the round on... these 2 key rounds on the CT side, where this man is multi-fragged in the last couple, towards the end part of this game, the impact is immeasurable.
2 flashbangs for HSK. That's all that MVP has to play with here. I'm just waiting for them to find a way to win this round, though. Because, like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just the kind of round that could happen.
Asia Pro League.
Yeah, exactly. Get a good flashbang, completely blind my rolls, players waterfall out from B apps. Pistols, the thing is they don't have armor, so even if they do pick up the guns, it's even still a pretty big stretch for them.
Look at Fox though, he's just walking around with a molly ready. Here we go, drops the molly, shots come out from Myros, but he cops a think very early on. He's still going to get himself a frag. Fox and Myros cleaning this one up. What could have been a bomb plant here for MVP to boost their economy, not even a chance. Not even a kill.
Well, 4,300, 4,250 is the lowest there for MVP, so they are at least going to be able to get rifles across the board. But you've talked about it extensively before. Rifles with a bit of utility, no all that kind of jazz. Not a perfect buy for MVP. Hasn't been conducive to them winning the rounds. And Alpha Red have got everything they could ever want here. So MVP is going to have to pull everything out of the books here to find a round win. And I'm just going to get them to overtime. Not even going to win them the map. It's a fake toward the A bomb site though, and it may well draw the rotation in. It does. MVP coming up connector, but Fox drops off at the wrong time. He'll get the incendiary down, which is probably going to do a decent amount of... Never mind. A bit too late. That's
no info actually for Alpha Red. They don't know that MVP are here. HSK doesn't even need to do anything. Stacks is going to pick him.
Great
Olivia
shot.
in the corner. He's pinned, but he doubles up anyway and said, oh, the 1-for-1. HSK is the one who snuck in through window. What? Try to cast that one. I don't think anybody possibly could.
Now he knows where my rolls is. This is a precarious situation, though, for HSK. Does actually get across to the bomb site. Will get the bomb down. So, I have to say, it does favour HSK. He's got bomb plant. He's got a lot of time to reposition because he knows Mirage has a long rotate here. He's got the Molotov as well. Mirage doesn't have a smoke. So it is all to play for, really, for Mirage here. And HSK just has to bide his time. He's waiting.
HSK could be absolutely anywhere. The plant for triple is going to narrow down some of the options, but still there's about 7 or 8 that Myros has to consider. HSK going to peek out.
He's won the round now.
Doesn't see Myros on the defuse just yet. He's going to edge his way out. Myros, oh my god, just gets one beat. It's overtime. MVP, they hang on.
I can't believe we're actually at an overtime after a 16-1 on Dust 2.
I can't believe that round was like... Just the flurry of kills that came out was just unbelievable. Trades back and forth, and it comes down to a one-on-one.
Sometimes it's just like that. I like to call that the vomit on the kill feed.
That's what it was. Perfect description, really.
But, okay, this is the second time in 2 nights that MVP's gone to an overtime on Mirage. Last night, This is where they just literally steamrolled Tyloo.
Yeah, on the T side, they were like, hey, we got money now.
Yeah, so...
It's almost like MVP, they don't have the playbook where for like just, hey, what do we do if we just have a smoke and a couple flashes?
Yeah.
But when they have all the util, they're like, I know how to make this work. It's like they're like that workman that like if he doesn't have the best set of tools, he's just useless. He can't do anything.
Yeah.
He's just got like a basic hammer, but if he's got the gold-plated hammer, he's the best hammerer you've ever seen. Best analogy ever.
Have you ever played like MMOs or something? I feel like this is an analogy that goes into like legendary armor and weaponry. Yeah, man. The analogy I would take is I've played a bit of Guild Wars 2, and there's rarities called Epic and Legendary. And Epic is like the highest tier, but then Legendary is the highest tier, but Epic is like basically the same thing. And then you get like tiny, like 0.5% stat boost out of the Legendary armor.
MVP just power up.
But everyone's all like, yeah, I need to get the Legendary weapons and armor.
Let me guess, and it takes like 300 hours of
It takes like
extra.
It takes like 20 or 30 times the amount of time to get Legendary as it does to get Epic. Even though Epic is like basically is just as good.
Lovely.
I don't know why we went down that rabbit hole. Anyway, we had a bit of time. But MVP, they've got the money. They did well in the overtime yesterday against Tyloo. So I got to say, I still have the faith in them here to close this map out with all this utility. It looks like they're setting up toward the A bomb site this time. No funny business. It's just going to be a straight up execute out from them. 789 may put a stopper to it if he does push through ramp, but has slowed down. Issue's going to be, though, these two players on the bomb site are definitely going to be isolated from any assistance of the Alpha Red players once the smokes do come across. So they're going to need to frag out. Good timing on the incendiary, though, from 789. The rotate coming across from Olivia, but he'll be behind a smoke.
Comes the execute, flashes out, very effective onto 789 and KNTZ. Olivia, he's got the counter flashes in from behind this wall of smoke, and no move from MVP is making Alpha Red second guess what's happening here, but the rotation's still coming out from Mirage.
The interesting thing is that MVP's really invested all of their smokes outside of the one for Zep, so it's just Molotovs.
Here comes the contact, 1-for-1 trade. Olivia's doing the damage in from jungle, but KNTZ as well from under balcony, still traded out. 3-on-3 situation, nice flick from Olivia. He's going to make this one much more competitive, and that rotation from Mirage, oh my god, HSK, Molly under balcony, burns himself alive. Zeta traded out by Mirage as well, and MVP. The strategy was to sow doubt in the mind of Alpha Red, but all it really did was just make Mirage activated. The man just rotated out, and you've seen it every time Alpha Red gets that extra player in position. That's the crushing factor for MVP, and it felt like that entire strategy from them really enabled that.
Yeah, but I mean, Alpha Red can only really do that as well because they do get some good utility down. The smoke into Palace obviously means that the Palace T can't really work that angle too well. The incendiary down into A ramp means MVP can't push through as early as they may have wanted to. And Alpha Red can really set themselves on the bomb site, feel comfortable where they're positioned. So it's time to change up a difference from MVP. They're going to take some control into middle.
Again, 789. He's been the aggressive one for Alpha Red. He's been the initiator. The connector position. That's where MVP are headed.
A lot of CT utility has been thrown out early in the round. So if MVP can continue to bleed them, and they do eventually get a bomb down, you're going to say counter utility is probably going to be lacking for Alpha Red. As the smoke into mid-window, and Zeph will take the initial peek here. Hasn't spotted 789 just yet. Does get the smoke down into connector, though. It's going to start to work that angle, but this is a position that 789 has used in regulation, and MVP won't fall for the same trick twice.
Checked it.
They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but, well, Zeph has learned something.
Fox needs to make something happen from the window here. Here comes the B split. It's all on Mirage. So far, so good. He gets himself one kill, but he costs him most of his HP, but he's punishing Stacks from pushing out. Fox is going to flank through underpass at Olivia. If one of these MVP players puts the wrong step... What a flash from Zion, though.
He's just flashed himself out and basically might as well have won the round for MVP here. KNTZ will work his way up short, but he'll have to deal with Zeph. It's really on to Fox out from apartments. He's given away his position as well. KNTZ does catch the timing on Zeph.
Are they going to check HSK though? Doesn't look like it. Got himself the first, and already fire coming down from Zion, who's peeked off bench. The two-man firing squad from MVP is easily enough to secure that round. It's one apiece on overtime number one, or the first half of overtime number one, rather.
Yeah, I think that's the par score for MVP. Getting the 1 on the T side. I mean, it's really hard to say. Like, it's all kind of theoretics. You want to be getting as many as you want, end of the day. So I'm not really going to go down that rabbit hole.
Jordan.
Well, the thing is, I don't know what to believe.
I'm so confused.
I am, actually. It was 16-1 on the first map, for God's sake.
That's fair enough.
But into mid again goes MVP. This time Olivia's kind of posted up on the angle just a little bit. Spam goes through. It's not really going to cause too many problems here for Olivia, but I do feel he might cause some problems for MVP sooner or later. There's not much pressure being put on. Oh, okay. Well, look. See what I mean? It's like, expect the unexpected. Game of Thrones Season 8. Subverting expectations.
Not the first reference you've made to that. Hopefully it will be the last, though.
Whoa.
And MVP with the man advantage. To set up for Catwalk, maybe?
Gonna see Zeph again clearing out Connector. It looks like it's the same strategy for MVP as the last round. They're just going to try and get into the B bomb site. Stash leading the charge out from Apartments.
Good start, but my rolls again having to do God's work here. 2 frags for the man, but still traded out. And with how far disadvantaged Alpha Red was already, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Zeph as well picking the rotate onto 789. It's all on KMTZ. A 1-on-3 for the ban.
Not an easy one for him, but maybe be able to find HSK. I think he should be traded by the player on short, although Zeph looks like he's locked himself in ladder room. Not going to be an issue anyway. HSK does finish it off. 17 up for MVP, so obviously we're looking for 19.
I think I've seen this movie before.
Yeah. Against Tyloo last night. They got the 2-1 on the first half when they were playing T-side, didn't they?
Just like real life, in the second movie, they just recycle the same plot line.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Well, pressure's back on to Alpha Red now.
Would agree with you there. And Alpha Red, I mean, their T-side was okay to start things off. I feel like they kind of relied on those executes early on to kind of get things done. And going up against the CT side, that already has 16k to start off, how easy is it really going to be to run those executes into the heavy utility?
Double AWP probably to start things off as well for MVP, which was a bit of a thorn in the side for Alpha Red. Well, congratulations, terrorists.
There you go. First round on the board for Alpha Red.
Good stuff.
Kappa. Big Kappa.
Big Kappa. Imagine that was an emote.
What would that look like?
It's just like a zoomed in version of Kappa, where you see like only his eyes. Like, you know when you're memeing someone on Twitter, you zoom in on a really awkward face of theirs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like that.
Done a few of those
So,
in my day.
is it the double AWP? Zion actually going to go for the AWP. Probably not too surprising. In that respect, it was going to be HSK or Stacks, probably.
They're
Stacks
going to take the spawn. There you go. That's the second person that's done that. KNTZ as well as 789 have found that opening frag.
Could be the equalizing round that Alpha Red is looking for.
Start from them. But what's the play going to be in the late round? That's my real question. How do you convert this 5-on-4?
Just trying to wait and see whether or not MVP is going to make a push. You can see the player sitting in Palace, expecting something on the A-bomb site there. Mid-control starting to be established in earnest for Alpha Red as well. And Fox obviously watching T-Apps, just again to see if MVP is going to go and push for that info out from the B-bomb site. Zion's going to be the linchpin here.
Yep.
If he does push through at the right time or holds at the right time.
Beautiful flash from Zeta enables him to jump
across.
up and get the pick and another kill onto my rolls, and he's evened up the odds. In fact, he's got them the advantage into the connector, and Alpha Red, they're going to scamper away. 789's trying to pick him, but he doesn't find the kill onto Zion. There's the information given that his position's been compromised.
It's just beautiful movement from Zion, really. You know what he's done there, Pilly, is he's subverted expectations. He was on the left side of connector, and they thought that he was going to be there, pushing through the smoke, trying to trade. Bam! He's on the right side. It's just crazy. It's nuts. Can't expect that. And now Alpha Red, they've split across the map. They're going to try and find like any individual pick. And it's going to have to be toward the B bomb site. Like,
What?
Alpha Red have just lost this round. Like, they've run out of time.
Olivia, what are you... You know, there's 10 seconds to go, right, mate? 789, he finds the 1-for-1, but Olivia's got to drop onto the bomb site.
No!
He's just put it down in time. They haven't heard the bomb plant.
Is this real life? Imagine if he wins this round now.
I don't think so.
You don't
They
think
know.
so? But
They know.
he could.
Maybe he's going to set himself up on bench. I don't think that's an aggressive enough spot.
He
find
might
a
agree
kill.
with you.
All right. Let's see your best Fallen impression, Olivia.
Oh, has he been spotted there?
Zion's gotten so close. I don't... Ooh, he's clicked onto him. Okay, 2 more to find. Just 2 more angles. Zeph jumping around like a madman. They're both on the bomb side. He's only going to leg him. Not quite enough from Olivia.
Even if he gets the kill there, Stax gets the trade.
That's it.
That almost made me... I don't want to say it on stream. Not a safe word for, you know. It rhymes with hit bricks. Almost made me hit bricks. Imagine if he wins that round because they just rotate off the B bomb site. Anyway, we're up to 18-16. 1 round left here for MVP to close it out. We've got 2 chances to do it. This time, mid hold doesn't get picked off early. Good utility in toward the B apps from Alpha Red does cause MVP to use all of their CT utility. You see the 2 HNAs, the smokes goes in, and MVP's actually really low on utility now. And Alpha Red are creeping towards this bomb site, but we know Zion and Zeta on A.
It's like Alpha Red just waiting for pushes, and this hesitance might be their undoing at the end of the day.
3 players at B, and I think you're right. 3 players at B. If Alpha Red went for a push,
7, 8,
that
9.
might open the door a little bit.
Might be the door open for Alpha Red.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Alpha Red had an opportunity there where there was only 2 players on the A-bomb site. No chance of a rotator across.
Over to B.
But I think, actually, this is a good play from Alpha Red because they've seen so much utility be thrown over towards B. We've seen all of the HNAs, the smokes as well. The incendiaries are all gone. Stax has got 1 smoke.
Holding it.
But there's 44 seconds still in the round, so it's not going to be enough to win it for MVP. This, however, might be. They've called it. They're going to hold the player on the B bomb site. So there's 3 guys here. Alpha Red, I don't know that they're expecting that. Still, they've got everything they could need for this entry.
Smoke gets dropped by Stax. He's playing in front of it, and the first man slapped out of the equation by Zeph. Traded out fairly quickly, but they still haven't cleared out Stax. HSK on the back of the bomb site. Alpha Red, they're trapped in the smoke. They can't even find their way out of apartments, and when they do, they get absolutely destroyed by Zeph and HSK. And is KNTZ timed out right now? He hasn't moved all round. What a way to lose.
No, he's just watching the rotate from underpass. Yeah, that's unfortunate, although I will say I think MVP was going to clean it up anyway. It was a great read from them over toward the B-bomb side. Having the 3 players there,